we're really good at expanding our mission, right? We're really good at adding more to it. What we're not good at is cutting out of it so that we can become laser focused.
Hey, what's up, family? Welcome to another episode of the Future is Here podcast, where we talk about the leadership principles that you need to lead this next generation, be the leader that God created you to be healthy, reach the next generation. It all leads to all that. So we have been talking a lot here about value-based leadership and all the ways that connects. Today, we're going to be talking about something that most of you that I know are not good at. You're not good at this. And you're getting better at it, though. I've seen a shift. There's been a shift overall.
People are starting to realize the importance of this.
Yeah. And here it is. It's the power of no. Just saying no.
Nope.
No, I can't. Hey, can you come help me do this? No, I can't. Hey, how about you take on another part of the job? No, I can't do that, Pastor. Hey, I need you to volunteer no, I can't. And so we want to break down and talk through the idea that this really might change your entire rhythm of leadership.
Yeah.
Is the power of no.
I think so. And I'm glad you said that you feel like it's getting better. Because
I do.
For a long time, I think as we worked with leaders, there's always felt like this awkwardness, or maybe even like, it's kind of selfish for me to say no.
Right. There's like a whole theology around it.
Yeah.
And
like God has only called you to say yes.
Right.
So everything that comes your way, you have to say yes to. And some of it, honestly, we've been taught in the church, especially, is like if the pastor asks you to do something, like you can't say no to that.
Yeah.
Right. So the truth is, though, that when you're talking about leadership, great leaders, they know how to say no.
Absolutely.
Right. Because what we've seen over and over is that no is actually a way to protect your yes.
Yes.
So that you don't get buried under the exhaustion of your yeses, but that your no actually protects it. So today, Tommy, we're going to talk about how to say no like a leader.
Yeah, sounds good.
With clarity, with confidence, and with conviction.
I gave you 3 C's, just like good pastors should.
Confidence, and conviction, man.
Thanks so much for tuning in. Before we continue, if you like the show and want to continue to support us, the free and simple way to do that is to simply subscribe. And so we'll do our best to continue to create content to help you in your leadership. So let's talk about why no
I don't want to talk about
it. Yeah, exactly. Good job. Way to show it. Why no is necessary. And first of all, if you have trouble saying no, you're probably most likely you're in the people-pleasing game. There's something inside of you that, and I think, by the way, a lot of this comes from good hearts, and some of it comes from really good places. Like, you want to be there for all the students. You want to be there for all the people that need you, and all that. But it's easy to fall in. You're not the Savior. You're not God. But the idea that you are in this people-pleasing game, so let's just call it what it is. And saying yes to everything isn't always about being helpful. A lot of times it's about being liked.
Yeah.
We don't want to say no because we're afraid of what you're going to think about that. But can I, as a testimony, let me be a witness. You can train people around you to say, here are my boundaries. And once they understand those, then they respect them. Because, you can't force me to do.
Here's the thing, though.
Yeah.
You can't train people about your boundaries and then have FOMO because you're not
doing it. Yeah. Like you can't be wishy-washy on the no of that. And I do think there's a deep down, kind of fear around saying, if you say no, you'll seem selfish or unspiritual or unavailable, or I deal with this too. So there are a lot of times where I'm like, sure, I want to, I engage, it's that gut conversation we had last time. I engage with the Holy Spirit. I engage in discernment, and I want to, but I can't. Recently, we had another guy I know, a pastor that kind of fell in ministry, and I feel bad because I feel like I need to reach out. But I also am like, I don't know if I can handle that right now. Because I can't walk with him. I don't know if I have the emotional bandwidth but I feel bad about it. And so I know those feelings of being like, I can't, or saying no to something. And
it's okay to feel bad about it.
Yeah.
Right. It's just that the feeling bad shouldn't drive you to then just say yes because you don't want to feel bad,
Absolutely.
I think, I was thinking about this, Tommy, that in Matthew 18, the parable of the lost sheep, this is one of the things that I hear often, that leaders will be like, well, but we got to leave the 99 to go in pursuit of the one. And I think, at least the way, now, correct me theologically here, but the way I've always understood that is that parable is not meant to be instructive about what we're supposed to do.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be descriptive about God's love.
Yeah.
It emphasizes the kind of love that God has. Like, hey, I'm willing to leave the 99 to go get the one. But I think sometimes we take that as an instruction that every time one shows up, we got to drop everything and go get the one.
Yeah. Well, I mean, another way that I look at that, right, when you said it was, I'm saying no to 99 so I can go say yes to the one. But for some reason, it's like, no, I say yes to all 100. And it's like, are you able to do that? It's not like you leave the other sheep in the pen. It's not like they're still not,
cared for, yeah,
or bleeding.
Oh, yeah,
where they're like, meh,
kind of
like,
bleeding.
like where they still want things, but I have to say no to that for a little while so I can say yes to this, and that's the principle that I think we're trying to share with people.
But I think what we see, especially as we've been working with a lot of nonprofit leaders, is that they overextend, overcommit, and kind of override their own limits because they're so worried about not meeting this one need that showed up in my community. Yeah. Even though they're already meeting 5 or 6 or 7 other needs that are important, like, but there's one other kid that showed up, or there's one. And so you build a whole program or ministry around that extra need. And the thing about it is like, okay, maybe you really felt called and led to do that. And that's great. But then another one comes along and you do the same thing.
Well,
so
tell them the reality about needs.
What do you mean?
Like what?
Oh, from the reality about a need is that it's always going to be there.
Yeah, exactly.
There's never not going to be a need.
It's unlimited.
Yes.
Yeah, there's always. In fact, we know an organization. I won't say who it is, but their tagline is "The need is the mission."
Yeah.
And that's why they're all over the place doing all types of things all the time. It's like hard to keep up. And sure, it's inspiring that you're coming to the rescue for all these needs, but it's like, it's confusing as well. I'm like, what are you actually changing? Or are you is it bandage on all these needs? Or are you changing some systems or things that's happening with it? So, I love you had asked this question, am I protecting my calling or just protecting how people perceive me?
Yeah. I mean, I think that's a real question we have to ask ourselves. Yeah. Is like, do I really feel this is part of the purpose? Because look, we're really good at expanding our mission, right? We're really good at adding more to it. What we're not good at is cutting out of it so that we can become laser focused. And a lot of times the reason we do that is because, again, as a leader, you're like, oh man, if I came to you and said, oh, Tommy, how could you not help that person? That's what we're afraid of.
Yeah,
somebody coming up and asking that, how could you not help?
We're like, you don't really love these people.
Yeah,
and you're like,
I thought you were about that. Yeah, you know what I mean? But so the question is it really part of your calling and purpose, or is it really that you're just worried about, man, I just don't want anybody to think that I'm not down for the gospel.
Right.
Or I'm not down for Jesus, or that my faith isn't, really where I say it's at.
Well, and so let's go to the source then. If we're supposed to model ourselves after Jesus, he's Christ, right? Fully God, fully man. Then let's take a look at him and see that the reality is that Jesus had boundaries.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we see that all the time, right? Withdrawing from the crowds. He's saying no to certain demands. He's prioritizing, obviously, time with the Father over his ministry. And I think, I forget what verse it is where he says, hey, the poor you're always going to have with you.
Yeah.
But I'm just here for a little while, right? So because the tendency was going to be to like, man, let's do as much as we can for the poor, and he's like saying, that's never going to go away. It's just part of our broken, sinful nature. The earth is groaning about it, but it's never going away. So you're always going to have those opportunities and those needs. And I think we're not saying, hey, don't pursue those. We're saying pursue them in the right way, at the right time, with the right resources, through the right people.
Yeah, I mean, I think of Mary and Martha as well, and Jesus says she has chosen what is best, and right. So I think, and we have that. You guys go check out, Luke 5:16 from when we withdrew with crowds, John 6:15 when he said no to certain demands, and then Mark 1:35-38 as he's prioritizing the Father over the work. Yeah. And so the reality is everybody needed Jesus, and yet he had a specific strategy that had some boundaries placed in it, where it's like he couldn't do it all the time.
But here's what's crazy. Not only did they need Jesus, but Jesus had the full capability to help them.
Which is interesting and we don't.
Right.
And yet we're supposed to,
we sometimes think we do.
Yeah. And so when we think about Jesus, when we look at it and we go, okay, if Jesus had boundaries, it's because, so why? Why did he have boundaries? It's because really he was led by purpose, not pressure.
Oh, yeah.
And you can see that with him where he's like, he knew exactly what he wanted to do. And he wasn't going to be pressured in by anybody. By, hey, show us a sign, and he goes, you're only going to have a sign. He was talking to the Pharisees, right? The sign of Jonah. But,
or, hey, they try to grab Jesus and make him king. And he's like, gives them the slip.
Yeah. He just walks through the crowd like nah. And so, that's the model, and the healthy leadership requires limits. Now, I will say, what I love about Jesus, he knew his identity. He knew who he was. He knew his relationship to the Father. He knew what he walked in. And we have the ability to know that as well. And when we're secure in that identity, I'm okay to say no to you. And I'm okay if you think I'm not down, or I didn't do this or that or whatever it is. And so that's part of it, is living in your purpose, not in the pressure.
That's so good. I do always say, Tommy, that I think your purpose, once you really understood your purpose, that becomes a framework for what you say yes to and what you say no to.
Which is really good. And so because we know a lot of you out there, what is the cost of us saying yes to everything?
Yeah. I mean, this is the reality, right? Is that we see leaders still, even though it's getting better, like you said, who are experiencing burnout because of all their yeses, right? They're running at a pace that God never really asked them to.
I'll say it again.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes we see how many times have we said, man, you're doing a lot.
Yeah.
We've had those conversations like, that seems like a lot, or it feels like a lot. Or when we're doing strategic sessions with them, like, why are you doing all of this if this is really your purpose? And so, because again, it's saying yes to every single one that comes in and adding to the 99, right?
And we say this repeatedly, right? If you're running at a pace that God never asked you to, it ruins your witness. If you're out here saying, we want you, young people, we want you to live the abundant life of Jesus that he talked about in John 10:10, and you and I are so burnt out because we got to meet every single need presented to us. So it's actually messing up the thing that you said you really want to do. So burnout is one.
Bitterness, I think, is the other. Is you start reaching out. Like if you're spending all the time with the lost, those who are found don't get any of your time. And you might start resenting them because they're like, don't you get it? Don't you understand? Like you were one, I have to do this. But the reality is that that was one point in time where you actually loved serving them as well. And now sometimes we see this decision to like, well, I think I'm called over here instead.
I think that's a really good one. That's a good barometer, a good, warning, check engine light for us. When the people that you feel like you're called to when you're just irritated and bitter at all of them. Now it happens, right? Where you're just like, man, but is it happening more than it used to? Are you talking more about that than you have been about reaching and engaging and loving that group of people? When we've seen youth workers like this, you're amazing, you've done it, but every time you show up, you're just irritated at these kids, you're yelling at them, and a lot of us have been there. And so that's one way where you're like, hey, you're saying yes to too many things.
Yeah.
So if that's you
start feeling that bitterness, you probably said yes to too many things.
Heads up. Yeah.
Yeah. The third thing is just a blurred vision, right? Again, losing focus on your calling because you're kind of in this, we talk about quadrants, right? The urgent quadrant.
Yeah.
If you're constantly like, everything is urgent, everything is the highest priority, everything is immediate, like you don't have any time to sit down and look at the future. What is the vision here? Ultimately, because the other thing is like the success rate on dealing with things in urgency is not high.
No, yeah.
I don't know why we think it is. We think somehow that...
Well, the movement feels like it.
The movement feels like it's a lot, like I'm doing a lot.
Oh man, look at me. And also in our culture of like, look at how much I'm grinding. Like, look at how much I do. Yeah. But usually that leads to what? Bitterness.
Bitterness, for sure.
Like you don't do as much as I do. And no one's doing this. And I'm
Yeah. And then what happens is those that you're leading, they're not really sure where you're leading them anymore.
Right. You're
just spending time and I look, I've seen this where in some weird way, you're actually not really helping people. You're just keeping them there because it makes you feel like you're helping them.
Oh man.
But you're not really helping them.
Okay. Can we, this little side tangent, maybe this is another episode. Go. It can get to a place, friends, where this topic moves into keeping things status quo so that we all just keep on doing the same thing. Like we've talked about in the past, in LA, it's like, do they really want to solve homelessness? Because if you solve it, then a whole industry goes away and all these people won't get money and they won't get paid and we won't have that industry of trying to help this help industry. Yeah. Like, which is like billions of dollars. So ultimately then it doesn't become about solving the problem or actually helping the people. It becomes about just keeping it status quo so that I can still be fulfilled and have my identity and see all the good I do. But we're actually not solving anything.
Yeah, you're soothing it. You're not solving it.
Bars.
And the last thing or the fourth thing is it creates broken rhythms. I mean, how many times, Tommy, have we seen leaders talk about, man, yeah, look at, I'm serving all these people and yeah, man, my heart is here and that. And then you look at their family and their family's like, looking at them a little side-eyed because your family, your own health, a lot of times, right? Yeah. And even your soul can take a back seat to this urgency, this constant desire to like, I got to help the lost and the broken. And again, gosh, we sound like, we sound like we're bitter about it.
We're not. We love you.
We're just trying to help you. We want you to be healthy. And so saying yes will create, again, burnout, bitterness, lack of vision, and these broken rhythms in your life that are just not sustainable. We want you to be around for a long time. We want you to be able to do the work God has called you to do for a long time, but we want you to do it in a healthy way.
Yeah, this one's actually really big. What I see with a lot of leaders is you don't want to admit it's because you said yes to everything.
Yeah.
Or you don't want to admit that well, here's what I hear. You usually say, I know I need to say no to more things. Most of you know that, but you don't do it.
Right.
And you're sacrificing your family, your health, your soul on the altar of ministry. Why? So that people can go, wow, look at that. And then all of a sudden it comes crashing down and your family gets ruined or your health is just trashed and your relationships are messed up. But man, you sure worked really hard to answer all those yes. Like it doesn't move to anywhere good. And so here's when we say this, it is so important for you to say no to things.
Another thing we hear, or I've heard, is the people be like, well, you just don't understand. You just don't get it.
I don't, but
you haven't been there.
It's hard to say that to us or to our context and the leaders that we know, we're like,
in fact, it's the one thing that our leaders experience the most. Like, oh wow, you all get us.
You get us. Yeah. And it's like, yeah,
you guys have been there. You guys have done it. Like, yeah, you can't pull that one on us.
Yeah.
To be like, oh, you just don't understand. Yeah, we do.
Yeah, we do.
That's why we're trying to tell it.
I'm telling you got to say no.
Yes.
Because every yes is a no to something else.
Yeah.
So it's and in that, it's a no to your family, it's a no to health, it's a no to your soul, it's a no to depth with God. It's there's some pretty big.
You're already saying no to a lot of
things.
Yeah. Because you keep saying yes to too many things is the problem.
So then that question is, are you willing to say no?
Yeah. Now, I think part of it is realizing that no is not negative.
Yeah.
Like when you say no to somebody, you're not rejecting them on a personal level.
Or that the opportunity is good.
Or the need, or that the need is not there, right? It's not rejection. It's not disrespecting somebody, but like, oh man, how could you say no? It's not that. And here's the thing, it's not being unkind either. Saying no is not, in fact, honestly, sometimes saying no is actually being kind to somebody.
Yeah. And
I find that, there's a saying that if you want something done, ask a busy person. I hate that saying because what I find is that it's disrespectful for you to ask me to do yet another thing. If I'm already super busy, it's your laziness. That's why you're asking me to do it. You're like, oh, there's a guy who get a lot done. There's a guy who keeps busy. I'll just have them do it. And you don't take on the work yourself. So saying no can be a kindness in that you're going to force that person you said no to figure it out themselves, to grow themselves, right? To figure out their own purpose and what God is calling them to. But I think it's a way for them sometimes to offload something to you that they don't really want to be responsible for.
Yeah, and we would say that a no is how we make space for what matters most. So the whole idea of a framework of value base is to say, what are your values and in what order are they in? And that helps you then go, I can say yes to that because it fits these values or it fits what God's showing me. And I say no to that because right now, that's not in my top values. So, my values is God and then Rachel and then family, health, home, and then work. Well, if work is negatively affecting my relationship with my wife, then I got to say no to some stuff so I could say yes to my wife. Yeah. And that's what that looks like.
So, that's kind of the next thing. Right? We always want to give you some practical ways to say no, how you can actually build a framework for saying no. So I think that's the first one that goes kind of with that, right? Be clear on your values, but also on your priorities.
Yeah.
Right. So if you don't know what matters most, everything is going to seem urgent. Like not everything can be the number one priority.
In fact, most of the time, if you do this right, friends, urgency is pretty rare.
Yeah, it should be. It should be. If you have your priorities set and you're working on your priorities, most likely that urgent thing that comes up is not really that urgent.
Yeah. It's not, everything can't be an emergency.
No.
And they do come up, but it's pretty rare. But so if you're living in urgency and emergency all the time, you're doing it wrong.
Absolutely.
And there's a different way to do it. And saying no is part of that.
So be clear on your priorities. The second is it does take some level of confidence to say no. It takes courage because the reality is somebody on the other end of that no might be disappointed.
Oh yeah.
Right? I mean, that's just the truth. They are going to be disappointed. But I think that if we stay rooted in our why we're saying no, again, confidence, our clarity on your priorities and your values, if it's because like, oh, you know what? That's not what I do.
Yeah.
This is what I do, or this is what I'm passionate about. And that's not part of it. I think you have to be able, if you have those guidelines, it becomes much easier. You're more confident about the no's that you're saying because that's just not my lane.
And I will tell you guys this is that when you have that confidence, and the confidence isn't because I'm so awesome and I'm big leaguing you, so I can't help you because I'm amazing and no, it's not that. It's that, hey, and hopefully you respond to people with empathy and grace, but you're just saying, hey, man, I would really love that. Right now in this season, I have 5 kids at home. I'm really focusing on I have 3 major projects that I'm focusing on, and I have my daughter's graduating, and then we're moving into I can make as much, if I want to share all that, I don't have to, but I can just go, I would love to. Right now I'm focusing on this, so I can't say yes to that. Here's what I found. Most people are like, no, I get that. Like, super gracious, and they usually go, man, that's good, man. They want that. They want to be able to do that. So you model that for them. I think it's really good.
Yeah. The third thing is that in order for you to say no, you have to have emotional resilience. We did a whole episode on emotional IQ.
Yeah.
Right? Emotional resilience. But the truth is, again, as we said, people are going to be disappointed. They're going to get upset. You're probably going to get pushback in some cases. Again, you're going to get that, oh, man, like, I can't believe you'd say no. Like, come on, man. Or how about this one, Tommy? Bro, after all I've done for you, man.
Yeah, that one's tough because you're like, oh, man, I didn't realize that this was a transactional thing. I thought you were doing that for, I didn't realize that was the contract.
Yeah.
And once you find that out, sometimes I go, okay, cool. I learned from that. And then maybe I'll do the thing. And then next time when they're like, hey, man, you want help? It's like, oh, no, I'm good. Because I don't want to owe you. You know what I mean? If that's what this is, and you just have that conversation. There's clarity there.
Yeah, I mean, I think again, it's okay if people are upset by your no. Just say no anyway.
Yeah,
I think a lot of times what we don't realize is the reason people get upset is because they knew they shouldn't have been asking you in the first place.
Yeah,
and there's a level of embarrassment and like, they said no to me, and so they might seem upset about it, but they'll get over it.
Yeah, and we know this is hard too, guys. It's something that's a muscle that you practice, but eventually people start knowing. And I found like everybody's pretty cool. You know what I mean? Like everybody's like, no, I get it. And it doesn't mean my no doesn't mean never. It just means not now. Yeah. And so,
but it could mean never.
It could be never for sure. But it doesn't. It can feel so finalized. But as you move through different seasons, it changes.
Yeah. So
Number four.
So first, clarity on priorities, have a level of confidence, build some emotional resilience about it. And then the 4 is a mindset shift. Now, this is really the big thing because as you talked about earlier, Tommy, a lot of times our yeses come from people pleasing and not from purpose fulfilling.
Yeah.
And so we need to move from people pleasing to purpose fulfilling. So the goal is not, I need everybody around me to be happy or to look at me and be pleased with me. But I need to just stay faithful to my assignment.
Yeah.
Like this is the thing that God, especially your family as your number one assignment. Stay faithful to that, right? That's got to be your highest priority. And it can't just constantly take a second seat. Because a lot of times, honestly, our families didn't sign up for that level of sacrifice.
Yeah.
And for some reason, we think like they should just be okay with it.
Yeah, when that wasn't their process or what they signed up for. Your kids weren't like, they didn't have a choice in being born. You know what I mean?
Right.
Your spouse didn't make a commitment at that altar for the organization.
Yeah.
It was to you and
again,
God.
This could all come from extremely well-meaning, kind-hearted, loving, care for the poor, loving people. It could come from all of that.
Yeah. But
it doesn't have to lead to sacrificing somebody else for the sake of who you're helping. That doesn't really make any sense.
And you got to work through that theologically because I think some people really believe that's what God's asking them to do through Scripture.
Yeah.
And maybe that could be a whole nother episode. So let's talk really practical like we love to do. Make sure you guys have what you need to do this. So there are practical ways to protect your time. So because how do you actually build boundaries into your leadership life? And so a couple tools for you. Number 1, time blocking. Again, I meet so many leaders that don't run their calendar very well. And this is so when somebody asks you something, don't respond to them right away. If you're not sure if it's a no, go, can I get back to you? Yeah. Or give them a barrier where you're like, can you email me? Put it back on them. They're the one that wants something. So I don't know why we do this. It's like, oh, well, let me go. I'll get back to you and I'll do. No. Hey, put a barrier for them. If it's really that important, why don't you hit me up?
Yeah.
And I'll respond to you in time, right? So schedule your priorities before others schedule them for you. And then you have to put margin in your calendar. You cannot put the boxes like this, right? There has to be
or
some
overlapping
space. Oh,
There's some people who do overlapping boxes in their calendars. I've seen it. I've seen their calendars, Tommy.
Yeah, and you know what?
Like, how does that work?
Even if you haven't seen their calendar, you know how you know those people because they're always late to your meeting. They always have an excuse why they were on another call or they had to jump off early. It's poor time management. So time block, like block time for rest, your family, your focus, like put it all on the calendar so that you can actually live out your stated values.
Put your phone on Do Not Disturb.
Yeah, man. I mean, again, emergencies are rare.
Yeah.
And so that's number one. Number two, what?
Delay your response.
Yeah.
Just like you talked about.
Yeah.
You don't have to answer right away. Like if somebody, I get hit up quite a bit for, oh man, can I have some of your time? And
yeah, sorry if I've already
passed.
I passed your number out to everybody I know. I go, oh man,
You're the one.
I'd love to help you with that, but here, call this guy.
Because he's busy and he gets a lot done. No, I think you have to. So a lot of times for me, taking on a project or taking on a side assignment or even just a relationship, right? I have to pray about it. I want to reflect and I want to ask, hey, God, is this something that you really want from me? Now, I have done a lot of work personally, internally, to figure out my purpose. Like I'm really clear about what I believe God has me on this earth for. So for me, a lot of the no's are very simple. I'm like, oh no, that's not really who I am. That's not really what I do, right? Even in my wife and I together in our marriage program that we do in our marriage mentoring, it's very clear what couples we are aligned with our purpose for what we do and what couples are not. Yeah. And so we're really good about doing that. So, but delaying your response helps in that it gives you time to really assess like, well, does this really fit within my purpose? Is it really something I should be doing? Lord, well, I don't know. Were you trying to tell me something with this? But a lot of times you're going to get an answer to that and you can get back and you go, hey man, I'm sorry, but this is not going to be able to do this.
And we know it's hard. So that gives us to number 3. You do want to say no with grace and strength. So it's that conviction that you're like, no, I'm really clear about what I need to be doing right now. And you have to give yourself time and space to be that clear. And by the way, friends, I have to do this pretty regularly because there is a lot of stuff coming at me and I'm doing this and that. Seasons can shift without you knowing it. You can go into a different time. Crisis can hit. There's a lot of different reasons why things shift. So I find myself always coming back and just going, wait, let me get back to those values. I know this is true. This is my purpose. These are the things I can take on right now.
Yeah.
We have another episode somewhere about how we time blocked our purpose and percentage wise and all that. So you can go check that out. But so you want to say no with grace and strength. We'll give you a couple examples. Hey, I really appreciate you thinking of me, but I'm not able to commit to that right now. And also, you don't owe people an explanation, but if you want to, tell them why. Hey, this is why. And there's some people that hit you up that you don't really know, and there's other people that you're like, dude, you're like family, dude, and I would love to do this for you, and I can't. I'm so sorry. You could do that. Or that's not in alignment with what I need to focus in on this season. Share your values. Like, oh, man, that's not really my lane. Here's Robert's number. You should call.
Okay. No, that's funny because I just did that this week where somebody called me and asked me to do something. I'm like, you know what? Man, Tommy. Thanks for thinking of me. Seriously. But I just don't think that's going to fit in my schedule over the next couple of weeks. But you know what? Tommy's available. I think he'd be perfect for this. Let me talk to Tommy. Well, and I talked to you about it.
Yeah. And you know what happened with that is that I waited on that text. And then by the time I hit him back, he was like, oh, I found somebody.
Oh, okay.
So I was like, cool.
There you go.
Number 4 is create a yes framework. We talk a lot about when we say a rubric, what we mean is a way to know what's a yes and what's a no. If I'm very clear in that, then anything that comes in this one side, I just go, that's not for me right now. Yeah. I can't do any new coaching or direct leadership development because I'm in this mode. We've got to create content. Yeah. It's just what do I say yes to? What I say
and there's layers to that, right? Like the very first layer of the framework should be your time blocking.
Yeah.
It should be your schedule.
Do I actually have the time?
I literally don't have because now here's the thing about it is some people have a schedule but it's not really their priorities. Their schedule doesn't reflect their priorities.
Yeah.
So they shift it all the time, and they're okay with, oh yeah, you know what? Let me just cancel this, and let me talk to this person, and I'll change
That just shows me you're not clear.
Yeah, you're not. So if your schedule can shift that easily, yeah, I would say that you're probably not time blocking your priorities. You're just time blocking for the sake of time blocking.
Yeah.
And actually you're saying yes to some meetings or gatherings or whatever, events, projects, until something better comes along.
Ooh.
And then you'll switch, right?
Yeah.
I hate that.
Yeah, me too.
But anyway,
that might be our generation.
Yeah,
though.
the last thing is accountability, right?
Yeah.
So accountability is also a way like, hey, I might talk to Tommy and go, hey, they asked me to do this. What do you think?
Yeah.
Should I say yes to that? I mean, I think I've asked you that
Yeah,
question
totally,
before
yeah,
about
yeah.
that, right? And so the same thing, my wife is a great accountability partner. I'm like, hey, babe, I just got invited to do this thing here. What do you think? Do you think I should do that?
So here's an insider trick. One of the things I do for my leaders, sometimes I go, hey, or my kids, I do this for my kids or my wife too. Hey, if I need to be the bad guy, you can put it on me. Now, don't do that to people who haven't told you that, because that's not cool. But I am okay if it's like, man, I totally would, Tommy, my boss, or like he set the priorities and it's just a no to that right now.
Yeah. Usually that conversation goes a little different. I'll go, hey, babe, this person asked me to do this, but I don't want to go.
I don't want to.
Can I say that you said no?
She's like, yeah, go ahead. I don't care. Yeah,
I don't care. I don't know this person.
No, that's totally really good. And so, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, so, I mean, I think that kind of gets us to this next section we want to talk about, right? Which is guilt. Because I think for a lot of leaders, it feels so wrong to say no to somebody. And we've actually heard leaders say that. I just heard a leader say that recently. They're like, yeah, but it just feels wrong to say no to them. Yeah. I'm like, well, yeah, but here's the truth, man. Guilt is not the same as conviction.
Yeah.
Now, here's what we had this conversation with a group of leaders that were here a couple of weeks ago. We talked about saying no and the importance of saying no with them.
Yeah.
And I said, here's the reason why you want to say yes with confidence is because if you don't, you're going to start qualifying your no's. And what I mean by that is you're going to end up lying.
Oh.
And almost every single leader in that room was like, oh yeah. Like you're going to be like, oh no, I can't because you know what? I got this thing with this person that, or like, oh no, I think we're supposed to be doing, you start making stuff up that there might be some truth in it, but it's not really true. Bro. Like you're actually free Friday.
These are the people out there saying, and the devil's a liar. You know what I mean? But I'm like, is he the only one? Because why'd you say that? That's not true. Yeah.
So I would say, like, which is worse, saying no with conviction or saying no with a lie?
Yeah, gosh. That's so good, man.
Right? I mean, feeling bad doesn't mean you're being disobedient. It just means that you're being obedient to your purpose. You're being obedient to your calling. You're being obedient to your family. You're being obedient to God in the sense that you're being obedient to all of those things.
Absolutely. And so it's the both and again, friends. Like you can be compassionate and clear. You can be available and have boundaries. And you can love people well without saying yes to everything. It's totally possible. And so don't let your guilt make decisions that should be guided by your purpose. And that's good leadership. And so it's not just about, leadership isn't just about how much you can take on. Like, wow, look at how much you do. And I know that's a big thing in our context. Yeah. Like, wow, look at, we flex. Like I stopped saying to people, I'm so busy. What I've been saying is my life is full. I have a full life. Because I want to get that language of like, I'm busy, and kind of this weird false humility, like, wow, man. And a lot of people people put that on me. Well, I know you're so busy. I go, no, I have a full life. I know exactly what I need to do in my priorities.
Yeah.
But I choose every day. So
it's funny because I've started telling people using the language of rhythm, I'm like, oh man, last week I felt like I was in a healthy rhythm.
Yes, and we've talked like that for a long time.
Or a heavy, this feels like a heavy rhythm in my life right now, you know? But people are just like, oh, like they've never heard that language. Because you used to hearing, oh yeah, man, my life is so busy. And then like, oh yeah, really? Yeah. And they start talking about all the things they're doing. And I'm like I'm supposed to feel bad for you. I'm like, well, I didn't give you those things.
Or impressed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, well, you took those on,
No. Sometimes I'm like, oh, it sounds like you just need to say no to more things. And then they're like, oh, well, and they get me a little hurt. But yeah, I love this. The idea that you're not weak for setting boundaries. You're wise.
No. Dr. Henry Cloud would disagree with that.
Yeah, dude.
You're not weak by setting boundaries.
You're not weak by setting boundaries. If you haven't read that, read Boundaries by Dr. Henry Cloud. But yeah, so any last words on this?
I mean, I think, and I've actually heard you say this, I think, that the most spiritual thing you can say is no. Mm-hmm. And allow the space for a stronger, more focused, and faithful yes.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing. If you're feeling stretched too thin, leaders, if you've lost clarity, or if you even feel like you're kind of on the edge of burnout, chances are you're saying yes to too many things. And maybe breakthrough doesn't come by doing more. Maybe it comes by doing less and creating margin and space for God to actually work the thing that He really wants to work in your life.
I love it. Well, we hope this has been helpful for you in your leadership journey as you reach this next generation with the gospel. And so as always, it's been good to be with you. We'll see you on the next episode. Peace.
Peace.